Here's one more Jan Brett story. Who's that knocking on Christmas Eve? High above the Arctic Circle, in the land of ice and snow, the northern lights shimmer in the night like a curtain of color hanging from the sky. The air is so crisp and clear in this northern place that one Christmas Eve long ago, a boy from Finnmark, on his way to Oslo with his ice bear, could see smoke curling up from a hut far in the distance. He was cold and hungry, so he headed towards it. Far off in another direction, someone else smelled the smoke. Even though he couldn't see it, he raced off to tell the others. That's who else saw the ice and snow, or the smoke. As the boy from Finnmark made his way towards the hut, Kiri was inside feeding the fire that made the smoke that roasted and baked the fine food. Delicious sausage and fish and tasty buns and cakes were all laid out on a pine table. Sweet porridge bubbled over the fire, and apple cider stayed cool on the windowsill. So why did Kiri jump at every creak in the sod roof? And why did she run to the window when an icicle fell into the snow? It was because in years past, on Christmas Eve, trolls came when they smelled the delicious aromas coming from the hut. They would pound on the door until it burst open, and they wouldn't leave until they had eaten up every bit of the Christmas Eve meal. No troll invasion this year, Kiri's father said. I am going to the mountain to watch and chase them away. And off he had gone to stop the trouble before it began. So there's the boy coming with his ice bear, and there is Kiri's father waiting for the trolls. So this year, Kiri was alone in the hut when she heard a soft sound at the door. Knockety-knock, knockety-knock. Someone was out there, but surely it was too polite a knock for it to be a troll. Kiri went to the door and peeked out. The boy and his ice bear are knocking on the door. And Kiri's father is watching for the trolls. There was the boy from Finnmark, with his ice bear. Please let me inside to warm up, he said. I am on my way south to show off my bear for the townfolk of Oslo. I have many frosty miles behind me and many to go. Come in, Kiri said, but I have to warn you that in years past our house has been invaded by a pack of hungry trolls. Trolls would be a welcome adventure, the boy said. So he came in, and the ice bear crawled under the warm stove and fell asleep. Looking out the window, and there's the ice bear under the stove falling asleep, warming up. Kiri and the boy had just settled down in front of the fire when they heard a not so softly this time, knockety-knock, knockety-knock. There's no one home, the boy called out. He was certain it was the troll, so he pushed a big chest in front of the door. You see the troll tails there? Kiri's father is still watching. And the boy is pushing a chest in front of the door so the trolls can't come in. When all was quiet, Kiri and the boy sat down in front of the fire again. Kiri got to thinking, I wonder if the porridge is creamy enough. And she ladled a bit into the bowls for each of them. They had just raised their bowls when they heard a loud knockety-knock, knockety-knock. It was as if someone was pounding on the door with a big rock. No one at home, the boy from Finnmark shouted, and he ran to lock all the windows. See those troll tails still. It was quiet again, but the delicious smells wafted around the hut. Carrie got to thinking, is the sausage salty enough? She took a piece for herself and gave one to the boy. They had just raised their forks when they heard a thunderous knockety-knock, knockety-knock. The hut shook and they heard a loud crack. It was the cellar trapdoor splintering open. Carrie and the boy ran into the small animal shed and pulled the door shut just as a torrent of noisy trolls burst up from the cellar. They made it into the hut. There's that ice bear sleeping under the stove. I wonder how he can sleep through all that racket. And there goes Carrie and the boy into the animal hut. There were bat-eared trolls, there were bug-nosed trolls, and each troll was wilder and more ruckus than the one before. They munched and grunted and shrieked and cackled, splashed the cider, and crammed themselves with Christmas cakes. Then, when they were all through stuffing themselves, they tumbled about, pinching each other, stomping on one another's toes, and tweaking their long snouts, which is how trolls have a good time. Ugh. They are not nice to look at, are they? That bear is still sleeping. And Carrie and the boy are watching. But through the ruckus and din, the littlest troll spied the ice bear under the stove. He took a hot morsel of sausage that he had been roasting in the fire and screeched, "Have a bit of sausage, kitty!" And he poked the sleeping bear's nose with it. The ice bear leaped up with a tremendous roar. His nose was burning terribly. Growling, he chased the little troll and all of the big trolls around the table, up the walls and out the windows. "Scratch them, kitty!" yelled the boy. That ice bear is not happy that he got his nose poked. Carrie and the boy cheered as they watched the troll scramble off through the ice and the snow, howling. Up on the hill, Carrie's father heard the shouts, so he raced down on his skis. There they're all running away. All those naughty trolls, and Carrie and the boy are cheering. And here comes Carrie's father down the hill on his skis. When he saw the trolls, Carrie's father could tell in an instant that they wanted to be as far away from the little hut as they could be. "Goodbye, trolls," he shouted as they disappeared up the mountain, and he skied the rest of the way home. "What a fine bear you have," he told the boy from Finnmark. "Thank you for scaring away those pesky trolls. You must come back next year for a real Christmas Eve feast on your way home from Oslo." And they all sat down for some porridge. Those trolls are getting away as fast as they can. And the ice bear's waving goodbye. A year later, Carrie was on the mountain gathering wood to make a fire to cook their dinner from Christmas Eve, when the littlest troll popped out from behind a snowbank. "Missy," he called in a high cackly voice, "do you still have that kitty that sleeps under the stove?" "Oh yes," Carrie said, "only she has grown up into a big cat now, and she has 7 kittens, all larger and fiercer than herself." There's their Christmas feast. And here comes the boy from Oslo with his ice bear. "Ah!" the troll screeched. "Then we won't be visiting your hut on Christmas Eve." And he disappeared into a snowdrift. And that is the end of Jan Brett's book, Who's That Knocking on Christmas Eve? I hope you enjoyed it.